What's up, everybody? This is Aziel Mejia with another NFL video. The Super Bowl has come and gone. What's next for the NFL? That's going to be the draft. We're going to be discussing the Commanders. Yes, the Commanders. If you followed me from my past channel, you know I built my career, my reputation off talking about the Commanders. I am from the DMV. My favorite team is the Commanders, and the Commanders have the seventh overall pick in this upcoming draft. We're going to be discussing the top projected players that they can pick, talking about guys like Sonny Styles, like Caleb Down, like David Bailey, who fits best for the Commanders, who can be that next defensive anchors for the Commanders and help them after, having that not very impressive defensive performance last season throughout the whole year. We're going to be breaking it down this video on who fits the best and who may drop for that seventh overall pick. First guy we're going to talk about is Sonny Styles, and the best reason, the best talking points on why he will fit best for the Commanders with that seventh overall pick. First reason being is that he will be a great replacement for Bobby Wagner. With Bobby Wagner hitting free agency this offseason, that leaves analysts believing that Sonny Styles will be a great replacement for Bobby Wagner. Shout out to Wagner for winning Walter Payton Man of the Year. He can either re-sign with us, go to another team, or he can simply retire. But they're saying Styles is the best fit to replace Bobby Wagner in the middle of that field. Also, Styles could be the upside to a problem the Washington Commanders have been facing this last season, which is missed tackles. Washington ranked 31st in total missed tackles last season, with Styles being widely considered one of the best tacklers in the 2026 draft class, bolstering a FBS best 92.2 PFF tackling grade, having missed only one tackle during the entire 2025 regular season. Like I said, he's not going to fix the total problem. If you saw a Commanders game last year, you're not going to win a lot of games with being 31st in total missed tackles. You're not going to win a lot of games like that, obviously, for the Commanders. So he's not going to fix the entire problem, but he could be the upside. He could be the start of that. Also, what's great about him is the versatility he brings to Dan Quinn's scheme. His background as a safety allows him to erase tight ends and mirror slot receivers side to side, sideline to sideline, providing the speed and coverage Washington defense lacked in 2025. It was no surprise that the Commanders, one of the reasons people were saying that they played so bad is because they were viewed as that unk team. They were, I believe, I mean, I can look it up, just pop it up right here, that I believe Commanders ranked number one and like oldest team in the league. So you're gonna need some speed. You're gonna need some versatility. That's what you're gonna get from Sonny Styles. Also, what he brings to the table is that defensive leadership. With Styles served as a green dot signal caller for Ohio State's pro Styles defense, earning high praise for his football IQ and pre-snap communication. So he looks like I said, he's not gonna be the total fix for the defense because defense was a big problem that could go to a multitude of different things. It could be how old the team was on the defensive side of the ball, the coordinator, the injuries. There was a mix of a lot. So Sonny Styles is not gonna fix everything. He can't plug him in. He fix every single problem, but he could be the start. He could be the right step in the right direction for the Commanders, and that's why I see him best fit. This is the reason why I think he'll be best fit for Washington if he does happen to be available in that seventh overall position. The next two dudes I did want to put together, I'm talking about Caleb Downs and David Bailey because they looking like the likeliest of choices for the Commanders with that seventh overall pick. I'm seeing a lot of momentum, a lot of talk about these are going to be the two main dudes that are going to be taken if available for the Commanders with the seventh overall pick. So we're going to compare both of them. You guys let me know. I'm probably going to pop up some stats, and you guys let me know in the comments who fits best for the Commanders, who can solve the most issues for the Commanders heading into the regular season. Just to give you a little bit of basic knowledge and just to speed run it is Caleb Downs is a safety from Ohio State, while David Bailey is an edge rusher from Texas Tech. Their primary roles consist of for Caleb is being a versatile chess piece safety, while for Bailey is an explosive speed-based edge rusher. Some of the key stats for Caleb goes down for 67 tackles, 5 tackles for losses, and 2 interceptions. While for Bailey, he has 14.5 sacks, which led the FBS, 19.5 tackle for losses, and 81 pressures. For Caleb's top strength is his elite football IQ, diagnosing plays pre-snap and eliminating routes before they develop. But for Bailey, he has more of an explosive first step, described as firing off the ball like a sprinter to overwhelm tackles. And he do, obviously, being from college, they're not going to be perfect coming into the league. So they do have some concerns with Caleb Down is based off his position because safeties are rarely drafted within the top five, regardless of their talent. While for Bailey is his run defense, he struggles to be an anchor, and he usually mauled by larger offensive tackles, which is going to be a concern when you are playing the NFC East, when you're going against guys like Cam Scatterboo and Saquon Barkley. So that's what to be considered. Caleb Down is being described more, his play style is described more of being a Kyle Hamilton, while for David Bailey, being described more so for Micah Parsons, as most described player. So you guys let me know from these quick fire stats who fits best for the Commanders, who fixes the most problems when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, or is it someone else that the Commanders just totally I remember last season I talked about so many rookies that could have been drafted for the Commanders, and I was like 0 for 11 or something. So I mean, the Commanders are posting about these guys, so one of them got a hit. One of them got a hit. To go into more details about these players on why they fit best for Washington, we're going to talk about Caleb Downs, who's looking like the most pro-ready defensive player in his draft class, which is great for Washington because if you want to go back, if you remember me from my past channel, I did talk about, I remember it. Maybe I'm too lazy to go back to find the clip, but I did discuss Washington having to go defensive heavy last season in the draft because the defense wasn't looking the best. They did a mere split 3 offensive player than 3 defensive player, but I do feel like majority of these picks had to be defensive heavy. And when you have Caleb Downs available in that 7th overall, I believe you do have to go get him if he is ready. Like he's being described as the most pro-ready defensive player, and you have to talk about his versatility. He can play in single high safety in the box or as a nickel corner. In 2025, he allowed a mere 54.5 passer rating when targeted. And you got to talk about his intelligence because it's reportedly being talked about how he prepares his own individual scouting reports weeks in advance when talking about his opponents, which is great to see. And why he fits best for the Commanders is that he solves Washington issues in the safety position, as in acting as a fundamental leader for the secondary with reports talking about Marshall Lattimore being let go for the Commanders, you're going to need an extra guy in the secondary. Who best to fit that position is, if not Caleb Downs? There is talks about maybe the Giants. I believe they had the 5th overall pick, maybe going after Caleb Downs. So, but if he's available at the 7th, do the Commanders go get him? You guys let me know in the comments down below. Last, but certainly not least, we're going to talk a little bit more about David Bailey. If he is available in that 7th overall pick for the Commanders, what he could bring to the table if drafted to Washington this upcoming season. He is being described as a high ceiling, low floor prospect who lives in the opponent's backfield. When you're talking about Bailey, you got to talk about his pass rush. He does have elite speed with his 20.2% pressure rate, which was best in the nation in 2025. Like I said about Commanders defense, it was a lot of unks out there. So they did look on the slower slide. They're going to need some speed. They're going to need some momentum. They're going to need a guy who could be a disruptor. David Bailey is that. Like I said about these rookies, is they're not gonna come in perfect. They're gonna have their flaws that they can build on. One of his developmental needs for Bailey, even though he does have a deep bag when it comes to pass rush moves, whether it comes to spins or ghost moves, he is currently a liability when it comes to the run. A funny note I saw right here from analysts is that they see him dance more with linemen than hold his gap, which is gonna be something they need to build on because, like I said, with the NFC East being with Cam Scatterboo and Saquon Barkley, you gotta be who do the Cowboys have as a it's gonna be something dumb, or am I just dumb, or is it just haven't seen Cowboys play in a while? Who is their running back? Am I dumb, or should I know this?
Who?
I instantly think of Cam Scatterboo because of his live streams, and then Saquon Barkley being Saquon Barkley. But NFC East, they do have elite runners, running backs, so that gotta be something you fix when it comes to playing in that division. Also, when it comes for the Commanders, if the Washington Commanders want to prioritize stopping the pass and generating sacks, Bailey is the best disruptor if available. I do remember doing my draft video last year, pre-draft videos, prediction videos, whatever you want to call it, that they needed to get an edge rusher, a disruptor, because 2 years prior, they did have Dante Fowler Jr., who was their sack leader, and they let him walk. They didn't want to pay him, and they let him walk. They didn't, and I was like, you need to go get his replacement in the draft. It has to be through the draft. They didn't do that. They didn't find no one through free agency or through trades, and that ended up being a problem for that. Maybe just me, but I definitely feel like their identity on the defensive side of the ball was lacking. They didn't have the disruptor player. In my 2 cents, when watching the game, when seeing the games, looking at the games, and watching the post games. There we go, post game analysis. They didn't have that disruptor, that guy, that anchor, that defensive anchor on the defense side of the ball. And like I said, if David Bailey is available, I think he is the best option. You guys let me know what you like, what you didn't like, or who I talked about. Maybe it's someone else that I didn't mention. I do see some other names being whispered, but I wanted to. I mean, the Commanders posted these guys, so I wanted to focus on these guys. Like I said, last year I talked about like 11 different college players and I went 0 for 11. So one of these got to hit. One of these got to hit. Or could it be another edge rusher? Or it could be, I did see tight ends. Tight ends are looking like a need for the Commander with Zach Ertz being out for the, who knows if he's going to come back at all. And then I don't know if they have the biggest of trust within Ben Sunnett. So you guys let me know in the comments down below what who do you think the Commanders should draft with the 7th overall pick? I mean, the conversations about maybe they draft down. What do you guys think? Let comment down below. But that's my breakdown of all the latest prospects, projections, or who could be coming to Washington this upcoming season. I'm Aziel Mejia, and I'll see you in the next video.